The Tower of Nightmares stands in Kessex Hills. What is it, and how did it get here? Hello and welcome to my channel. Here we learn the lore and stories of the world of Tyria. Today we will continue Living World Season 1 with the chapters of Tower of Nightmares, The Nightmares Within, and Fractured. As always, you can find the full info on the official Guild Wars 2 wiki. Now without further ado, let's begin. During the Mad King's festivities, the Seraph began reporting strange changes in the landscape around Viathan Lake in Kryda. The forest seemed to shift unnaturally, and soon a mysterious magical veil appeared over the lake, concealing what lay within. These strange events drew attention from multiple factions: an agent of the Order of Whispers, scholars from the German Priory, and researchers from Divinity's Reach. The Order's agents noticed a sudden spike in activity from the nearby Crate population, an ominous sign. The veil was suspected to be a powerful mesmeric illusion. To investigate, the Order called in Lady Casimir Mead, a skilled mesmer. After studying the spellwork, Casimir confirmed it had been created by a mesmer and prepared accordingly. With her efforts, the illusion was eventually shattered, revealing a massive, towering structure built from local wood and guarded by a giant, alien-looking plant. While Casimir and Marjorie Delacroix explored the area, Sergeant Walters and her Seraph unit were stationed nearby for protection. However, they were ambushed by the Toxic Alliance, an unusual partnership between the Nightmare Court and the Crate. The attackers used toxins that induced horrific hallucinations, incapacitating most of the Seraph soldiers. Shortly after unveiling the tower, Casimir and Marjorie were attacked by the Alliance, led by a Crate Oratus furious about their interference. Though the pair survived, the encounter left Marjorie uneasy and eager to return to Divinity's Reach, while Casimir became even more fascinated by the tower and its mesmeric properties. She believed it was protecting something incredibly dangerous. A temporary operations camp was later set up at Thunder Ridge, serving as a base for the Vigil, the Order of Whispers, and other allies. But exploration of the tower proved perilous. The structure was releasing a potent toxin that spread through the region, causing hallucinations and illness. One scouting party that entered the tower never returned. Meanwhile, corrupted seedlings began appearing across the surrounding province, poisoning the land and affecting wildlife. In response, the Vigil and the Order of Whispers began targeting and destroying the plant offshoots. During this time, scholar Ella McKay of the German Priory began researching the unlikely alliance between the Crate and the Nightmare Court. She discovered that the Crate were once a powerful ocean-dwelling race with vast pillar-like cities beneath the waves. Recently, they had begun moving into shallower waters, possibly in anticipation for the long-lost Prophet's return. McKay also concluded that the Nightmare Court members seen working with the Crate were not part of the main faction, but a radical fringe group. Back at camp, Marjorie focused on developing an antitoxin to counter the tower's effects. Despite her growing concern for Casimir, who was increasingly drawn to the mesmeric magic used by the Toxic Alliance, Marjorie pressed on. By collecting the samples from the offshoot plants, she finally succeeded in creating a working antitoxin, making it possible for teams to enter the tower more safely and push forward towards its heart. Thanks to the antitoxin developed by Marjorie Delacroix, the three orders, alongside with their allies, were able to construct air purifiers that kept the spreading toxin at bay. This made it possible for them to safely approach and enter the Nightmare Tower. Inside, the combined forces of the Seraph, Vigil, Order of Whispers, and German Priory worked to map out the tower's defenses. But progress came at a cost. Casualties were high. Meanwhile, the toxin thickened in the air, triggering even worse hallucinations and stirring up buried fears and traumatic memories in those affected. As they advanced through the tower, illusions and psychological traps continued to plague the teams. Lady Casimir Mead took charge of navigation, using her deep understanding of the mesmeric tricks to guide the others. It became clear that the tower wasn't a fortress in the traditional sense. It was a massive shell built to protect an enormous toxic plant growing at its core. The structure's real purpose remained unclear, but it was heavily guarded by members of the Toxic Alliance, Aetherblade pirates, Molten Alliance fighters, and Scarlet's mechanical minions. Back at base, scholar Ella McKay uncovered the reason behind the crate's alliance with the Nightmare Court offshoot. They were given obelisk shards as proof that their long-lost prophets were returning. Her analysis showed that these shards emitted a magical signature similar to the Bloodstones, powerful and ancient sources of magic. Eventually, the commander, Marjorie, and Casimir reached the top of the tower. Along the way, Marjorie suspected that Scarlet Briar might be the mastermind behind the entire operation, especially given the presence of her earlier inventions. Inside the tower's heart, they discovered Scarlet had made first contact with the rogue Nightmare Court faction. The crate's Oratus leader had allied with them solely to bring about the return of their prophets. A heated argument was overheard between the Oratus and the Nightmare Courtier about outsiders desecrating sacred ground. When the group was spotted, Scarlet Briar appeared via teleportation. In her usual mocking fashion, she taunted the allies and quickly collected a sample of the toxic seeds. Before anyone could act, a large cocoon burst open, revealing a young crate. The Alliance treated it as one of their prophets and fought fiercely to protect it. Shockingly, the creature grew at an unnatural speed, aging it into an adult within minutes. It was part crate, part Sylvari, with leafy skin and thorny growths. Despite its strength, the team managed to defeat it as it cried out, "No, I cannot be the last of my kind." Whether or not it truly was a crate prophet remains uncertain. Following the creature's defeat, Marjorie injected the remaining antitoxin into the plant's core, but something unexpected happened. The tower began to resist. It was adapting, learning how to counteract the antitoxin. Digging deeper into the facility, Marjorie found a hidden chamber containing remnants of Scarlet's past creations. Molten weapons, Aetherblade tech, Watch Night systems, and now Toxic Alliance components. Among the discoveries was the fact that the toxic seedlings were resistant to heat, and that the Watch Knights used during the Queen's Jubilee were designed to respond to audio commands. Marjorie gathered samples from each faction's technology and cast them into a forge. The result was a powerful energy core, which she had combined with the antitoxin to create an enhanced version. When injected, the tower responded violently. It began to tremble and groan as if it were alive. The toxins were purged from its system, and the tower collapsed in on itself, its twisted purpose undone. In the aftermath, the region was left scarred. Many local inhabitants were displaced by the tower's destruction and the lingering toxins. Refugees poured into nearby areas, and although some consortium members tried to negotiate with them, the Lion Guard, who had taken on the role of caretakers, refused to allow it. At the Thunder Ridge camp, Marjorie and Casimir were introduced to Rox and Braham, who had participated in the final assault on the tower. Though the worst had passed, remnants of the tower's influence still lingered throughout the province. While the Tower of Nightmares was being flooded with antitoxin, Captain Ellen Keel, newly elected to the Captain's Council, was focused on delivering one of her campaign promises. Under Lion Guard authority, Keel took control of the Mistlock Observatory to begin research into the Thomanova reactor disaster. She instructed Dessa, the observatory's lead scientist, to calibrate the fractal machine to the moment of the catastrophe. However, Dessa seemed genuinely confused, claiming that no such disaster had ever taken place. When threatened with removal to Lion's Arch, she firmly refused, showing a deep emotional attachment to the observatory and her work. Keel noticed how devastated Dessa seemed at the idea of leaving, a reaction she found both unusual and telling. Once the fractal was calibrated, the commander and the Lion Guard team entered the simulation, while Keel monitored from the outside. Inside, the team was transformed into Inquest scientists moments before the reactor meltdown. Strange readings and chaotic teleportation events were already underway. They soon discovered two dead Asura, former members of Dessa's old crew. The team's goal was to reach the reactor core and collect a sample, but the core was too hot. To cool it down, they disabled colliders in nearby labs. Despite these efforts, the situation worsened quickly. The reactor began overheating, and Scarlet Briar appeared inside the facility. She confronted the inquest, stating that she had warned them that chaos magic was a misleading term. She revealed a major discovery: a network of magical channels that crisscrossed the world, carrying energy like veins through a body. According to Scarlet, Thomanova had been built on an intersection of those channels, something she implied made the research far more dangerous than the inquest realized. After Scarlet vanished, the reactor's energy spiked out of control. A strange anomaly appeared, a being made entirely of magical energy, unlike anything ever seen in Tyria. Neither Keel nor Dessa could identify it. Moments later, the reactor exploded in a massive meltdown. Back in the Mistlock Observatory, Keel gathered the information to bring back to Lion's Arch. She tried once again to convince Dessa to return with her, but Dessa refused. When Dessa finally attempted to go through the portal, something strange happened. She reappeared in the observatory, seemingly unaware of what has just occurred, as if stuck in a loop. Later, in Lion's Arch, Keel reviewed the findings. She concluded that the Thomanova reactor was built to study chaos magic, but the inquest had taken their experiments too far. They believed chaos energy was linked to the power of the Elder Dragons and had pushed their research far beyond safe limits. Ultimately, the disaster was caused by their reckless pursuit of knowledge and their failure to understand the vast global network of magical channels they were tampering with. This has been the story of the 5th part of The Living World Season 1. A lot has happened and Scarlet's plan begins to be uncovered, but there's still a bit more to unveil. Stay tuned for more parts in The Living World Season 1 story. With that said, thank you for watching this video. Please like and comment something you thought was interesting or something that I missed. Also subscribe to not miss future lore content in this format. Now, take care, and I will see you in the next story. Goodbye.